In this episode, we talk about providing value through your content and what you can offer your audience and the world. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 45 of the Honest Entrepreneur Show. My name's Tom Ross, and let's get into it. So we're on Tuesday at the time. Don't know why I looked at my watch like it's going to tell me the day. We're on Tuesday. We're recording the show. This is the final section of our recording, and I can't wait to get home. I'm preparing for Birmingham still, which is happening very soon. My first speaking gig. Super excited about that. I am loving the amount of engagement that's been coming in recently. I appreciate everyone in the community so much. The DMs, the engagement on my posts. I can feel traction. And so before I jump into today's question, that is what I wanted to talk about. It's traction. You can feel it. You can feel the momentum start to shift. You can feel when things are going in the right direction. And I promise you, when you do feel like that, you need to go all in, because that doesn't happen every week. It can just as easily go away. So when something's working, you want to push it as hard as you can and see where it takes you.
This question is from Lenine. Is providing content considered providing value? I like to mix in direct help things, like tips for graphic designers, with content like design news, art exhibits, etc. I believe that every post should educate, inform, entertain, or inspire. Otherwise, don't post it.
Yeah, that's a really good question from Lenine. You've kind of answered your question inside your question, Lenine. I agree. Content should be valuable. It should inspire, entertain, educate, all the things you talked about. I think what most people do is they're inherently selfish with their content. And it sounds like you're in a much better headspace than the average person. So I'm talking to you watching and listening at home if you're feeling unsure about the value of your content. And I know that's a bunch of you, because I get this question all the time. Like, how do I provide value? I haven't got any value. And it's a very subjective thing, right? But value really comes from bringing something, helping the other person, like giving them something. And so many people are putting out content from a perspective of like, how many likes is this going to get me? What is this going to do for me? And I've said this so many times on the show. One of my favorite things I've ever learned in this marketing entrepreneur game is from my former business mentor, who said it's not about using your audience, it's about serving them. And when you go into that service mentality, a funny thing happens. You start to get more traction. You start to get more movement in what you're doing. You start to elicit a better response because you're being selfless. And so I think selflessness in your content is a very good thing. Get inside the head of your audience and think what is going to make them smile, laugh, what's going to be incredibly useful, what's going to inspire them. And so content, in my view, is an empathy game. The more you understand and empathize with your audience, the better a job you can do at serving them. And so everything Lenine said is correct. Put out tutorials, put out tips, curate the best news, because that's helpful and that's a utility in terms of your content. Share stuff that's personal. And people often get stuck on this point, right? If I share like a personal fact, like I do at the start of the show sometimes, that's not like selfish. It's not narcissistic. It's me opening up with my community. And so that does all kinds of cool stuff where it's like people can actually relate. They can connect deeper with me. And I see that all the time. So value can come in a whole lot of different ways. I just think the main thing that you should focus on is like looking at how it performs. I'm not talking like just how many likes you get, but like look at the real human reaction, because that should be your Geiger counter for how valuable your content really is. Because I know when I put my heart and soul into some stuff and then it falls a little bit flat, and afterwards I think like, you know what, like emotionally and like my ego being tied into this, I thought that was the best content ever. But actually when I look back 5 months after that, I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see why that flopped. Whereas there's some stuff where I just give it all away. I bring all the value I possibly can. I don't hold back. I share the stuff where genuinely I could be charging for it. And then that actually does really, really well because it's just so laden with value. I've really, really tried to over deliver on that front. And so that would be my tip. Just push the value, always just monitor it, see how you can do more, get that feedback from your community, have those one-on-one conversations, get inside their head, empathize, and just think, how can I do a better job for my audience? How can I do a better job for my audience? And just keep learning and putting out content. So that's it. There's no formula, there's no hack. You just have to care enough to keep putting in the work, keep listening, and keep caring. And on a final note, Lanine, the very fact you're asking this question shows that you are in the right headspace. The fact that you care enough to want to inspire and educate your audience, the fact that you're asking about what value you can provide them with shows you're a long way down the path. You got all these shitty marketers out there who are in it for selfish reasons, who don't care about their audience. They only care about what their audience can do for them. And so the fact you're on this show, the fact you're asking this question, I think you've got it. Now just go put in the work. Question of the day. Do you struggle when thinking about what value you can bring to others in your own content? Let me know in the comments. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode. Really appreciate you being here with me. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe right here on YouTube. Remember, tick the little bell icon so that you get proper notifications. I really hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you'll stick around for the upcoming episodes. I really want to keep bringing you as much value as possible. So thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you guys soon.